Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Red Light. Today we're going to talk about different car crash on the traffic. But before we take a look at those videos, let's take a short break and then we'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back. Today our first video is going to be most shocking truck car crash on the traffic. But let's take a look at the video and then we'll be right back. It is not easy to drive in a traffic, but it is very important for you to drive safely on the traffic. When you're supposed to be on the left side, please stay there. When you're supposed to be on the right side, stay there, because you don't know the big cars or the trucks where they're coming from. So if you're a driver out there, watch out. Our second video is going to be about car crash test. It's all about showing you how a car is crashed, what happens, and how to prevent it. So let's take a look at the video and then we'll be right back. Don't go away.
ADAC are Europe's largest motoring organisation, and they recently crash tested some popular small cabriolets to see what happens in a rollover accident. They found that Peugeot's 207cc was the safest thanks to extending rollover hoops at the back of the passenger cabin. Once a sensor detects you're about to turn turtle, they extend by 20 centimetres in just 175 milliseconds, forming a protective zone that keeps the occupants from smashing into the tarmac. It wasn't a totally glowing report though, as the experts deemed the windscreen pillars weren't strong enough.
All of this got us thinking. What about older convertibles, the ones that don't have the modern pop-up safety equipment? Summer's here, and a pretty little 306 cabriolet like this comes in at just 1,500 quid. Now that's sorely tempting for a bit of summer fun. But exactly how safe are you if something goes wrong?
We're going to find out by simulating a high-speed rollover ourselves. Euro NCAP awarded the Peugeot 306 hatchback a middling 3 stars, but they don't test for rollovers, so nobody knows how this car will perform. It's something that the American crash test authorities seem far more concerned with. They issue rollover ratings for new cars, probably because they love driving around in tall, wobbly SUVs so much.
But they also say that sports cars and roadsters can roll over, especially if they're being driven aggressively by a young, inexperienced driver who's being put off by fluttering hair. Now, rollovers have a much higher fatality rate than other types of accidents, so exactly how does a car turn over?
Well, the first way, in 95% of cases, it's because the car trips over something. So the car starts to drift off the side of the road at speed, clips a curb, and then flips. Or similarly, starts to understeer off, and then digs into the soft soil at the side of the verge and rolls over. In the other 5% of cases, it's because the driver does some big, dramatic, accident-avoiding swerve, and it's the same result.
We'll be making our car turn over by winching it up this Hollywood pipe ramp. Having retired to a safe distance first, of course. Our crash test dummies will show us what happens to the occupants. Those in the front will have their seatbelts on. Those in the back are a happy-go-lucky, carefree bunch, and will be travelling without any restraint at all.
That's gonna wobble your wig.
It was horrifying. The rear seat passengers were thrown clear, but then crushed by the car as it landed. We were glad this had been a test, rather than real life. No matter what the car is, you're 75% less likely to be killed if you're wearing a seatbelt. But the German experts at ADAC reckon it's time we fitted height-adjustable belts and pretensioners for rear passengers as well as those in the front. And, of course, make sure your passengers wear them.
Right, I'd just like to introduce Matt Hillam. He's our resident crash expert here at the Fifth Gear Playground. So, as far as it goes, these things have a strengthened windscreen pillar, aren't they?
It would be ideal if the vehicle did have some kind of pop-up roll hoop or a retractable hoop that comes up from the back of the seats.
Of course, what modern cabriolets do have these days.
Absolutely, yes.
Let's have a look. Oh, my God.
One would have to say it's very unlikely that either of the front seat occupants would have survived either, looking at how they're currently trapped in the car. There's nothing to stop it sort of crushing down upon itself. If you're going to roll a car over, this is possibly not the best of cars to roll over in.
American data says that 85% of all rollovers happen when there's no other vehicle involved, suggesting that it's driver error that causes the accident. So next time you're racing down country lanes, enjoying a bit of wind in the hair motoring, check your speed, otherwise you'll end up looking something like that.
Welcome back. You have seen the video, how or what happens when a car is crashed. You can lose your neck, your leg, your body, or you can be paralyzed. So it is very important to drive safely in the traffic. Our next video is going to be about car crash test in front. It's all about you driving, putting a child in front of you. It is not safe. It's either you put the child at the back and then have a strap on it, but don't drive whilst having a child in front of you. It is very dangerous. So let's take a look at the video.
Airbags have saved thousands of lives and prevented millions of injuries to adult passengers since car makers started installing them in the 1980s. But for children under 13, frontal airbags can be fatal. Front passenger airbags are in the dashboard and are designed to inflate and fill the space between the occupant and the dashboard to protect an adult in a crash. But for children under 13 years of age, sitting in front of an airbag doubles their risk of serious injury. Michael Nance is a doctor at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia who is an expert at treating injured children.
When a head-on crash occurs, seatbelts and airbags are designed to work together to help passengers come to a gradual stop and protect against injuries. But for a child in the same situation, the rapidly inflating airbag can pull the head away from the body, resulting in serious injury and sometimes death.
A rear-facing child can also be killed from the force of an airbag hitting the back of their safety seat. Never place a rear-facing child in a seat with a frontal airbag. The best protection is to put your child in the right restraint for your child's age and size in the back seat of your vehicle each and every time you travel. Airbags have been improved since the early 80s, but even now the risk of fatal or critical injury for children remains high. For that reason, children under 13 should never be seated in the front seat of a vehicle with a passenger airbag. There may be times when your child must ride in the front seat. You may be driving a pickup truck or sports car with no back seat, have more children in the car than can safely fit in the rear seat, or your child has a medical condition that may require your attention. If a child must ride in the front vehicle seat with a passenger airbag, move the vehicle seat as far back as possible and make sure he is correctly restrained. Just remember, children sitting in front of an airbag during a crash are at double the risk of serious injury. So before you decide to expose your child to that risk, you should consider all your options. Whenever possible, avoid transporting infants and children in vehicles without rear seats, and make sure they are properly restrained. If your child requires constant attention, make sure there is an adult riding in the back seat. As the driver, you need to keep your eyes on the road. Some vehicles now come with side airbags in addition to frontal ones that can protect passengers and drivers in side impact crashes and rollovers. Side airbags and curtain airbags can come out of the side of the vehicle seat or from the roof above the window and can provide protection for both the front and back passengers. Some cars may have side airbags in the rear seat that come out of the seat back or door. Side airbags may be harmful to children who are leaning against the door. Side airbags are smaller than front airbags and inflate with much less force. But if the child's head is too close to the side airbag, your child could suffer a serious injury. Consult your owner's manual to learn if it is safe for children to sit next to a side airbag in your vehicle. In all vehicles with side airbags, teach your children not to lean against the door. Pickup trucks and other vehicles without a back seat have on-off switches for the airbag. In addition, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration makes some exceptions for consumers with special circumstances who need to have airbag on-off switches installed in their cars. If a child must ride in this type of vehicle, be sure to turn the airbag off, especially for a rear-facing seat. You must remember to turn the airbag back on for the protection of the next adult passenger. For more good advice on kids and cars, look for a certified car seat technician in your area. You may find a free child safety seat checkpoint or car seat check at a local hospital, police or fire department, or state highway safety office. And remember, crashes happen, but with proper precautions, serious injuries don't have to.
Car crash test infant not secured in a car. That's what we have for you in this episode of Red Light. Do join us next time, same time. I was your presenter, Lillian Tebbs, and have a good night.
I just remember sitting at home thinking to myself, it's like, I have no one. My friends were there for me at first, but after a while, they weren't.
I looked up on her Facebook page, and she said on there, "Can anybody please hang out with me today? I don't have any friends."
Before the car accident, the things I did in high school with my friends were, just go to the high school games and everything. Every weekend go to a party, go bowling. I was a good student. I was a role model. I was like a popular girl in high school, so I used to model.
My main worry for Liz as a parent before she started driving was the typical teenage things, the drugs and the alcohol and, being safe and hanging around the right kind of kids and keeping her grades up. I did not think that Liz was connected to her mobile phone. I didn't realize that she loved her phone as much as she did.
I used my cell phone every second, every minute, every hour. Like, if I didn't have it, I would freak out because I couldn't connect with my friends. I couldn't connect with anyone. Couldn't connect with social media or anything. If I didn't have my cell phone, I felt lonely.
I would ask her all the time, "Liz, do you text and drive?" And she said, "No, Mom, I swear I don't. Don't worry, I don't use my phone when I'm behind the wheel."
I ignored these warnings about texting while driving because everyone else was doing it, so I thought it was okay. I thought I was invincible, but clearly, I was completely wrong.
I was getting ready for work, and then 12 hours later, I'm in ICU staring at my daughter, who's bald, and tubes running in and out of her body, and it's just overwhelming devastation over a stupid text.
The consequences of my life now after the car accident is the fact that I'm blind in one eye now. I cannot smell. I cannot hear that very good because a bone broke in half and covered my eardrum. I can't create tears because both my tear ducts got damaged, and I can't put my body to sleep naturally. I take medicine and go to sleep. The hardest part about my life after the car accident was the fact that I was alone. Everyone was away at college. I wasn't. I couldn't drive. I couldn't go to college. My friends were there for me at first, but after a while, they weren't. They got tired of me. They got tired of all my problems.
Don't text your loved ones when you know they're driving. It can change their lives forever.
If you get a text, don't look at it. It's not worth it.